All right, what's cracking, everyone? My name is Marc Dressen. I'm a personal trainer and sports scientist, and this is the 6th video of my series AskMarcD, where I answer any sort of question you guys have regarding health, fitness, and nutrition. Today, we've got Linus on the line, on the call, on the YouTube freaking hangout, and he has a very specific question. He is actually playing sports, and he wants to know, how can I combine my sporting activity with the gym, and how do I get the best results out of that? And he's also interested in speed training and let's say getting faster, also building muscle. So he has a lot of questions, and I think if you're interested in that, this video is for you, so stay tuned. Right, everything recording. Okay, cool. Yeah, Linus, thank you for joining the call, and I see you got my invitation, which is great.
Yeah.
Take like
it worked.
Take like a minute or however long you need to introduce yourself quickly.
Yeah, sure. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Sweden. I train regularly, mostly cardio in form of swimming and football. Yeah. So that's kind of my life, and I work, so it's nothing more like that.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. And how did you find sort of my channel?
Yeah, I found it out. I was just clicking around on YouTube, and I saw your 1,000 rep challenge.
Oh yeah.
I got interested, and I start looking, and then I saw it was a very serious video. So I started looking around in your channel, and looked at a lot of different videos.
Okay, great, awesome. Yeah. So what is your question today? We've got like 15 minutes, so just let me know.
Yeah. First of all, I want to know how to, in the most effective way, combine cardio and like gym training, lifting.
Okay. Before I answer that, I probably need a bit more information. So you do swimming, and you do, what else did you say?
Football.
Is this your main priority? I mean, what is your overall?
Yeah. I want to get more explosive, mostly on the field in football.
Sure.
And therefore, I want to train to get more explosive, jump higher, and so on.
Okay.
And I really want to know which muscles that I should focus more on.
Yeah.
If you say like that.
Yeah. So this is a really good chat, because most of the guys, they say, I just want to look good. I want the best physique in my life. But for you actually want to improve in your sport. Is that right? Yeah. Well, especially soccer and to get quicker. I mean, when you say you do cardio, do you do swimming as cardio for soccer, or is swimming another sport you do?
No, it's for soccer, to keep up my condition and everything like that.
Okay.
Just now for the winter, now when the season is over.
Okay. What kind of training have you done before? Just to give me a bit of an idea, and then I'll tell you what to do.
I have been lifting. I did it for like 8-9 months, but I didn't get the result I was after. I didn't get much quicker. I only got fat, really. Some lifting, and it's only football and swimming, like 4 to 5 times a week. No lifting right now.
Okay. Just give me an idea of what kind of lifting you did, and then I'll tell you what to do.
Mostly, how do you say, bench press, like the common one, the 5 common one, squats, bench press. I'm not sure how it's called when you with the back, and the thing like pull-ups and everything like that.
Okay, so an overall body workout, more or less. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, generally speaking, if we just look to increase your speed and explosivity, you actually would not really need to train upper body in terms of overhead pressing and pushing. That would just be something you do because you want not to be unproportional in your body, if that makes sense. I mean, swimming, it will help you with swimming, that you will get, maybe faster there. But so what you would want to try to do is you want to try to focus on one part of the training is hypertrophy. So you want to make sure that you get bigger muscle, just because when you think of a sprinter and a long distance runner, what do you notice when you have these two in your head?
Yeah, the sprinter has really big muscles, like, and the sprinter and the marathon, they are very, very thin.
Yeah.
Very thin.
Exactly. And the point I'm trying to make is that we have different muscle fibers. We've got fast twitch muscle fibers and we've got slow twitch, so the red and white ones. And a sprinter, or our muscle in itself, the bigger it gets, or the more muscle fibers we can activate, the more we tap into our sort of genetic potential of increasing the fast twitch fibers. And that's why when you look at a sprinter, they look like a bull, because they really sort of superseded that kind of muscle growth. But then if you would just squat, let's say squatting, deadlifting, these are good ones to do to get sort of the lower body quite strong. That is not enough to then get faster. I mean, that's sort of the sort of building block. And then you would focus on, it's called speed training, quickness training, quick feet, the sort of speed ladder training, stuff like that, and jumping, plyometrics, to then really get the contact of your foot to the floor. That is the amount of time you want to decrease.
Yeah. Do you think that I should be bulking? And do you have any recommendation for that?
Yes. So have you got an idea of how many calories you're eating a day?
Right now I'm around 2,700, I think.
Okay.
Just to keep the same amount of weight and everything like that.
Okay, that's very good. That's actually quite a good amount of calories which you're eating already. Now, if you want to sort of, I mean, you could stay at maintenance, but you do want to make sure that you give your body what you need, because you're still, how old are you? Say that again.
19.
19. So you're in the prime of your building of your body. So you don't want to deprive your body in terms of going into a cut. So you can make sure that you are definitely in a surplus. It doesn't have to be a massive surplus. It can be something like 200, 300 calories. See how you go, because you also don't want to put on too much fat. You want to make sure that you stay in a sort of range, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just my assumption by what we've discussed so far. Would you be right to say you want to gain size, or do you want to stay the way you are and want to sort of just be quicker?
No, getting a bit bigger would be great in terms of muscles.
Okay.
Some like 2-3 kilograms maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then definitely stay or up your calorie intake a little bit. Make sure you hit the squat rack at one point, and deadlifts and stuff like that. You can also do, I'm not saying don't do any upper body training. By all means, go for that. I mean, your core is always in running involved, your arms, your upper body, always. But obviously the explosiveness comes from your feet. So do you have an idea of what quickness training is and what speed training is? Do you know what you do normally?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure about the training in terms of quick feet, using the ladder, everything like that. That's it. It's just on the gym. I'm not really sure how to work things out.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of you would combine some, for example, squat training with a bit of plyometric training. You could even do both in one set. Not in one set, but in one session. So you first go into sort of your heavy lifting, deplete that a little bit, so you get a bit, and then you go into jumps, for example. So you superset. You could do that. You could do 5 times 5 on a squat rack, and then you go into plyometric jumps onto a box, for example. That's very good. Or you then, I mean, the actual quickness training and plyometric training can also be a separate single training session. It doesn't have to be combined with. It just depends how much time you have, really.
What kind of max rep are you having? Should I be having? Any weights and anything like that?
Yeah, so I've got on my website, I've got a tool called the 1 Rep Max Calculator, and it gives you sort of the tool to find out what it is for you, because you do want to make sure that you train something like 80 to 85% of your 1 rep max in terms of squatting to increase strength and size, with the rep ranges 4 to 6, and then 3 to 4 sets, and you're probably really set with that. Now, in terms of when you're new to lifting, you don't want to try a 1 rep max. So you don't want to load up on the plates and just see how much you can lift. So what this calculator does, it basically, you put on, let's say 60 kilos for a squat, and then you take it on and you do as many reps as you can do with the 60. If that's the amount of weight which you can, let's say, squat more or less 6 to 8 times. And then you put these numbers into the calculator, and that will give you your 1 rep max calculation based on that sort of performance. And then you know what your 1 rep max is.
Yeah, and in terms of explosivity, you said like 80-85%. Should I be focusing on?
Yeah, in terms of explosivity, what I'm trying to say is you want to make sure that you build muscle on the one hand. So the actual getting stronger, building more muscle size for the hypertrophy to activate more fast twitch muscle fibers. You want to make sure that you focus on strength training, but not the powerlifting strength, the combination between strength and hypertrophy, which is between 4 and 6 the rep range, 80-85% of your 1 rep max, and around 3 sets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once you've
yeah, you can continue. I can take it afterwards.
Once you've got that covered, then you sort of have your basis of increasing size or strength, and you can translate that to any compound lift. So it can be your squat, your deadlift, your bench press, your overhead press, your pull-ups. You can use the same formula for all of that. So you can figure out what's your maximum one pull-up. You know, maybe you do pull-ups with weights later on. So that's how you do that. And then explosivity training is a separate thing. That really is, you know, it's harder to cover this in the amount of time we have, but just go for if you Google quickness, speed training, plyometric training, you will find loads of protocols out there, and combine that with soccer search, especially for increasing speed in the game, not on a sprint in terms of sprinting, because that is not what you need. You need agility. You want to be sure that you're quick sideways. It's more like rugby training, what you're actually doing, right?
Yeah, and I'm wondering how to combine this in terms of still going for how many times do you think I should go for this type of explosivity training sessions?
The thing is, explosivity training, if you haven't done it, will put a lot of strain onto your muscle. You will see if you've done a quickness and speed and plyometric training, you will have really sore muscle, especially in your calf, because your calf is the one which is the bottom of your leg, and that is the explosivity which you need. And obviously, it has a bit to do with your whole leg is involved, but the calf is really going to be exhausted. So, and the amount of pressure you will put onto your ankle and generally will be a bit higher. So I would probably start off with 2 sessions a week for plyometric training, and then maximum go up to 3. You don't have to do more than that, because you don't want to jeopardize your other training, right? This is just something you add on top, and you probably will be doing something between 20 to maximum 40-minute sessions in terms of the speed training, because it is really exhausting, and also you don't need that much. You will see you start off with 20 minutes and you build it up.
Yeah, and when you are bulking, I saw that you have been right now you have been do this intermittent fasting, I think it's called,
yes,
where you fast for 18 hours and you eat for 6.
Yeah.
Is that something you recommend while bulking, or is that only for cutting?
Yeah, so intermittent fasting is just a meal timing protocol. It just tells you when to eat. You can do that also when you bulk. It just means that you have to cram in more food within a shorter amount of window of eating. But I actually, when I have my clients do bulking, they don't do any intermittent fasting, because they eat so much food that they, and also the other thing is, because you're sort of an athlete, right? You're not a someone who wants to compete on stage in terms of looking shredded and being in the best shape of their life. You actually really want to make sure that you're sort of going down the sporting route. So for you, it's much more important to get your meals around your workouts, that you got the most amount of energy ready to be able to train. Whereas someone who wants to get shredded, for them, they want to really just focus on losing the most amount of fat. So that approach is a bit different. So what I mean by that is, when you do your workouts, you want to make sure that you have the right amount of carbs before and after your training to be able to, you know, when you actually do the training, that you've got the energy for it.
Yeah. And the Star Nutrition split, I think it's called. Should I divide it by 40, 40, 20, like you've done before, and then more or less focus on individual, how I see my performance? Or
Yeah, so
Is it something else?
yeah, what I always say to people, the best way to start is by getting your protein intake first, and that is like 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, or up to 1 gram, depending on your preference. Once you got that number, then you take around, it's 0.3 gram per pound of body weight for fat, or around 20%. It normally works out to 20% of your macronutrient spread, and the rest you just fill up with carbs. And that's where you start. Now, if for whatever reason you're the type of guy who really loves fat, you dial down the carbs a little bit and bring the fat a bit up, but don't sacrifice the protein. Don't go down on protein, because you want to make sure that you'll be able to build muscle. And also don't go too low on carbs, like 20% carbs and 40% fat. That's also not a good ratio. I mean, it works for some people, but let's figure it out first by keeping it that way.
Yeah. So if I got it right by this explosivity training, you mean that I should just focus on my lower body? Does that include the belly? How do you say? I'm not sure. Muscles in my stomach. Yeah.
Oh, belly. You mean abs? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You need to make sure that you focus on your core as well, because your core is so much involved when you run, especially, for example, cyclists. They bring all the power out of their core, and it's very much with you with soccer and kicking. It's all engagement from core first, over the hip translation into the foot. So, sorry, you want to make sure that you get definitely core work in separately, not focusing on I want a six pack, but doing side twists, leg raises, all that stuff. But generally speaking, I'm not saying don't or avoid upper body training. I'm just saying that you do, most people skip leg days when they go into the gym. They're like, yeah, I just want to do get huge, but because you want to get fast, you don't want to skip leg day. So you would probably do a focus, like 60% of your workouts in the gym is focusing more on building the lower bit of your body, and 40% is sort of thinking of your arms and torso and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's really the questions I had to ask.
Okay, great. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, we've got like 2 minutes left anyway, so yeah. Is there anything else you think you need to know or want to know, or is anything clear?
Yeah, everything's clear. We can take this with how do you say? You take it supplements to training, like protein shakes and anything like that. Is it some specific thing you want to exclude and something you want to include in this supplements?
So first of all, I'm a big believer in you don't need any supplements. So I always try to get my clients not on supplements, only if they are deficient in something. So for example, if you're a vegetarian, you will have a hard time getting lean protein in, because the protein you eat is lentils and stuff is always with fat, and so they have a hard time staying there. But I would recommend taking a multivitamin tablet, so you got your micronutrients also covered and all that stuff. Maybe fish oil, but that is sort of it. If you fancy doing protein shakes, I'm not saying you can't. You can definitely work that into your split. Let's say you're sick of eating meat and stuff, then you just have a protein shake that works as well. But I'm not the type of guy that says you have to take it and buy this brand because I earn money with it.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I think I got everything covered now.
Yeah, great.
Just going to go down to the gym now.
You're going to uni now?
No, we're going down to the gym.
Oh, okay.
When I got everything covered.
Yes, very good. Awesome. Generally speaking, if you've got any other questions, you can always email me, drop me a mail if you've got anything you want to know. I'm definitely, if I've got time, I'll take the time to answer that. And yeah, thank you for jumping on the call. I've got my next one like in 2 minutes, so I'm going to jump off.
Yeah. Thank you, Sal.
No worries.
Have a good day.